Shuhei Yoshida continues on his interview spree as he thought The Last of Us was great when he played it. Michael, man, this one hurts. This one really, really hurts. This one stings me a lot and a lot of fans of The Last of Us. We wanted this really bad. Let's get into it. Tom Henderson over Insider Gaming. It's been a rough couple of years for PlayStation and its live service game slate. Around 75% of the projects have, well, they've been canceled for one reason or another. One such game was The Last of Us Online, or better known as, for the community, Factions. The game was publicly canceled in 2023 when Naughty Dog saying it would be shifting its focus to single-player games instead. On paper, at least, The Last of Us Online could have arguably been one of PlayStation's live service cash cows, and according to Shuhei Yoshida, the game played great. Oh, come on. Why, Michael? Well, here's why. Speaking on the Sacred Symbols podcast, Yoshida said, quote, "The idea of The Last of Us Online came from Naughty Dog, and they really wanted to make it. Not Bungie explained, I'm just reading what's there. Bungie explained to them what it takes to make a live service game, and Naughty Dog realized, oops, we can't do that. If we do it, we can't make Intergalactic. So that was a lack of foresight." Yoshida went on to explain that from his experience at least, no development team at PlayStation has been forced to develop a live service game, and that the games are pitched by the studios based on the direction they believe the industry is going. Quote, "From my experience, when studios see the company has a big initiative, they realize riding on that gives them a better chance of getting the project approved and supported." End quote. He explained, quote, "It's not like current PS Studios boss Herman Holst is telling teams they need to make a live service games. It's like mutually." End quote, he said. As the PlayStation current slate of live service games, yikes, we'll say, that has been cut drastically in the past couple of years, Bungie's Marathon, Haven Studios' Fair Games, and her Horizon live service game are still in development. But at the time of writing, no firm release dates have been set. Michael, they said a dozen live service games were in development. We're now down to 3.
Yeah, the live service train for Sony has completely derailed. Interesting that Yoshida has now somehow redirected all the blame for Last of Us Online over to Bungie. Quite an interesting turn there, basically saying Bungie was the one, guys, who told Naughty Dog this is what it takes. And then Naughty Dog was overwhelmed, which, by the way, we still don't have anything about Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet either. So it's not like canceling Last of Us really got us anywhere there. So interesting. I mean, the biggest thing, I mean, you and I have talked about this, the live service initiative. Every time there's a live service, we say this. Live service hits when the game is good, and it's live service on top of that, right? The problem it feels like with a lot of Sony's games is their live service first, and then the game is made knowing it needs to be live service. And I don't think any of those games have really succeeded. Curious how Yoshida says, oh no, we don't force them to be, but you got a lot better chance to get approved if you are. So you kind of do force them, just without actually twisting their wrist. So yeah, I'll be curious to see. We haven't seen anything on Marathon. I have lost all faith that we're going to get that game at all. Fair Games, again, haven't seen much on anything. And I have a feeling Horizon might go the same path as Last of Us Online, where, hey, we have this great franchise, let's turn it into live service. Oh man, this is a lot harder than we thought. So we'll see. Maybe one of those will hit. I really don't see all 3 of those hitting at all. I only see maybe one of those 3 even coming out, Drew. Curious to see, but yeah, PlayStation's completely failed, and I'm curious, after these 3 games come out, what is Sony's next goal? Is it going to be, all right, those dozen live service games we promised didn't work. We're going to double down. We're going to have another dozen? Or are they going to move back away and say, you know what, we're going back to these single-player games that we've made our bread and butter. We tried live service. That's for Xbox or somebody else to handle.
Yeah, no, I think they're kind of staying away from the live service now altogether. That's why you saw Naughty Dog switch over to Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet, right? So like that's where they're looking, going, hey, live service is a time sink. And we heard that too. Like Bungie came in and said, hey, we heard different things though, and you never know until you hear from behind the scenes, right? True. We heard that Bungie was like, this isn't working. It's apparently not true. It's actually that they terrified Naughty Dog into going, hey, you know how much work this takes? Like, this isn't... Granted, Bungie could have spun up a whole other studio. PlayStation has the funds. Dude, this is just me wishful, right? Arguably saying, what if? Okay? Naughty Dog. They already had 2 studios. Dude, they were working on Uncharted and then The Last of Us. They had 2 studios going at once. Why not put the 1 studio on The Last of Us multiplayer? Or, I hear Ben Studios isn't up to too much right now either because they just got their game canceled. Why not pull them in again? They worked on Golden Abyss, right? Uncharted Golden Abyss on the Vita. That was their take on the Uncharted series. Rest in peace to the Vita. But it's one of those, they've worked with Naughty Dog before. Let's pull them in. What's Blue Point doing? They got their game canceled as well. It's like, man, you guys are canceling things left, right, and center, but yet you've canceled probably, which would have been one of the biggest live service games to drop. Hands down. There's your opportunity. You want something that's going to continually to make money, right? I get it, but you need to have your game, which The Last of Us, dude, sold millions for a reason. So you already got the foundation of what you're going to get into. What's your multiplayer going to look like? Factions? Oh, man, it was so good. It was really, really good back in the day. So I was looking forward to see what we can get into. Put up another studio to do that, though. I get Neil Druckmann and his team want to focus on, hey, the Intergalactic is going to be our next big single player experience. This is going to smash numbers again. Here we go, right? Cool. I'm down for that. At the same time, dude, you just left us out in the dust here, dying, looking for this faction multiplayer that apparently probably could have really been something special if you would have brought in more people. Again, that's just more money though, Michael. Is it enough? Who knows? I think it would have been enough to carry them forward, and then you drop Intergalactic as well. Man, it sounds like a money-making giant. Maybe I'm wrong.